boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Just with Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. And it's one of them situations where a lot of audiences and families out there have been burned by Disney, right? They don't trust pretty much any of Pixar or Disney Animation's new releases out there. Everybody just kind of sits back and waits for it to come on Disney Plus before they even bother watching it. And honestly, that's true with a lot of Disney properties now, whether it be Marvel or Star Wars or anything out there. So it's fascinating to see out there. And one of the reasons why is because of a lot of the activism that has been put inside of children's entertainment. Now, we know Disney has been on the back hill of trying to fix a lot of this stuff and cut a lot of this stuff out. We've heard from creators, we've heard of Disney themselves, that they've cut certain episodes out of their children's television shows that featured a lot of the LGBT kind of propaganda that they've been pushing for a long time out there. But at the end of the day, we know that Disney still has a lot of this stuff at their core. We know a lot of these employees that have made these decisions and have pushed this kind of agenda-driven storytelling is definitely still at the company, despite the massive amount of layoffs that we've had. We know that until the executive leadership at Disney changes, we basically really can't hope for any true revival or true renaissance inside of any property that they own out there. Well, Zootopia 2 is on its way to theaters in the not too near future out there, boys and girls, and we're getting the early reactions already from a lot of the Hollywood trade insiders out there who got to give out their first social media reviews. And in most cases, the social media reviews sound pretty solid. But at the end of the day, there's a giant red flag that might cause a few parents, despite Zootopia 2 being a sequel from an established brand that did really well in the past, like Inside Out 2 or Moana or a lot of the other stuff Disney has seen $1 billion success with over the last few years when it comes to animation. But that alone isn't necessarily enough to guarantee it, especially with headlines like this and comments saying this kind of stuff. A timely social commentary is what one of the Hollywood critics has said about the movie. Now, anybody that out there has been paying attention for any length of time knows that this is something like a giant red flag where they talk about made for a modern audience, or when you see them race swap or gender swap or decide to promote something as the gayest Marvel project ever, it throws up a bunch of giant red flags because, boys and girls, this is the kind of stuff that we have seen in the past. This is the kind of timely wording that they'll use to make it oh so palatable and make it to where you're not paying attention and it kind of slips in under their radar. But fortunately enough for all of us out there, and unfortunately for Hollywood and their agenda, they have indeed trained us. They have indeed educated us, but not in the way they had hoped to, because things like a timely social commentary throws up giant red flags and could keep a lot of families out there from just waiting to see what happens and waiting to watch this on Disney Plus versus spending the $100 plus it takes to take a family to go to the movies these days. Yeah, not exactly something people want to take a chance on, considering how tight money is for most people in this modern era out there, because of course it's always made for a modern audience after all. But at the end of the day, we're going to find out. We're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com, getting all the juicy details, and also jump over to Geeks and Gamers as well, because they've also got some more fan reactions and commentary to these, of course, timely social commentary comment we see coming in out there. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We have finally crossed 2,400 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, over the weekend. I think we're sitting at like 2,411, and I could not do that without every single one of you on this journey to 100,000. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. What do you think about all this? Is this enough to make you want to avoid seeing the movie at the theaters? Do you think this will make you avoid seeing it opening weekend and wait till some more trusted sources of commentators and reviews and critic guys out there that you actually trust? Or is this not enough to actually throw up a giant red flag and you're just desperate to get your family out of the house to go see something and get the kids out of your hair for a little while? Let us know about all that in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well, because those memberships do go a long way, because this is my full-time job. And trust me, I get the whole desperate for any kind of entertainment for your kid as the father to 6 kids. Trust me, I get it, boys and girls. We're all desperate for some actual safe, family-friendly entertainment to watch with the kids without a bunch of agenda-driven nonsense in it. So we'll see what happens with Zootopia 2, because honestly, if this isn't the case, the movie's probably going to make $1 billion. If it doesn't, I mean, what are we going to do? Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, boys and girls? I don't know. I mean, probably at worst, honestly, probably like I would imagine the last Little Mermaid live action movie, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It depends on how bad it really is. The early Zootopia reactions are rolling in, and on the surface, Disney appears to have another potential animated hit on its hands. Critics are calling the sequel funny, emotional, fast-paced, and sharply written. But mixed in with the glowing praise is a very different phrase, one that has become a flashing warning light for families who have grown weary of Disney using its movies as political megaphones. Timely social commentary. Yeah, not exactly something you want in the marketing around a family-friendly movie after all. And I've heard some people say that the first Zootopia movie was kind of woke and stuff like that. As a guy who went and saw it with my son at the theaters, I didn't really get a feeling of that, but maybe it's something I need to go back and watch again. But a lot of other people have told me the same things. It's just a couple of people that I've heard that from, so I don't know. That may not mean as much to some viewers, but to others, it's the exact wording that sends up flares. Below is a breakdown of the praise, concerns, and why some families are waiting to see whether Zootopia 2 is a family-fun adventure or another lecture with bright colors. Plenty of early screenings have produced overwhelming positive reactions. Many reviews are highlighting humor, heart, and standout animation, classic elements that original Zootopia was loved for. Rachel Leishman here says, Zootopia 2 has yet again made me ask myself why I want a fox and a bunny to be in love. But also, it's a cute movie about love, friendship, and the need to prove ourselves, and I loved it. Because, of course, all the little funny furry people have to have their fun little interspecies relationships out there. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Disney movie. I mean, there's all been kinds of questions about whether or not Goofy's girlfriend's a cow, whether or not he's a cow or a dog, or what's going on with all that kind of stuff. So, if the worst thing we have come out of the Zootopia 2 movie is an interspecies relationship inside of a kid's animated movie, I'm not going to complain, boys and girls. But these weirdos might. I watched all of Zootopia 2, says Eric Davis, with a big dorky smile on my face. Loved it. Maybe even more than the first one. Yes, it's totally unhinged and full of amazing animal puns and gags, but it's also sweet, honest story about finding the courage to tell someone they truly matter, right? All good things, all positive things you want from your children's entertainment out here. Zootopia 2, this is from laughingplace.com, is a joyful, organic evolution of the original. The humor, character work, and world building all hits effortlessly. A clever, laugh-filled sequel that introduces memorable new faces. Gary DeSnakes steals the show, right? All happy things out here. But this is where things start to have an issue. Drew Taylor. Zootopia 2 exceeds expectations. The mystery is terrific, but what struck me the most is how thematically rich it was. And Byron Howard packed so much timely social commentary into a very funny, highly emotional, brightly animated romp. And there's the red flag. How thematically rich it was, and how Brian Howard packed so much timely social commentary. Timely social commentary. So much of it. Now, what is timely social commentary meant in the past? It means to talk about modern politics and modern agenda in kids' entertainment. This is stuff we've seen time and time again. Made for a modern audience. After all, this is stuff we've all seen. And the fan reaction is exactly what you would expect it to be. Wild Hop says, timely social commentary is not a phrase that get people want to see a movie in 2025. It makes them want to skip it. Might want to rethink how you praise it, as that praise doesn't mean what you think it means. At least not in the actual context of what everybody else thinks about it. Here's another guy. The part about social commentary is not a selling point. I'm very glad you loved it. Can't wait to see it for myself real soon, is another reaction out there. People tripping up on the social commentary part definitely did not see the first one. Now, there's somebody else who probably doesn't really fall on our side of the fence as far as common sense thinking out there, who clearly interpreted the first Zootopia movie as activist messaging. So clearly they're saying you should be perfectly okay with that, and even more of it, as Drew Taylor says, packed even more into it. So much timely social commentary. Another post out here says, obviously talking about all of this stuff. Fun, the original film doubles down on its fast-paced buddy cop. The story is timely and had themes that should resonate. The story is timely and has themes that should resonate. How did this person interpret that? I'll say this. It's like they're watching what is happening in Philadelphia and the development of the 76ers arena. This is recently a recent attempt to build a new arena for the Philadelphia 76ers in Chinatown, which met resistance from the neighborhood's residents and various groups who were ultimately scuttled. The NAACP, yada, 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 suggested that the racial elements were present in the argument against building the arena. The comments to Lee's post are less varied as the post of Taylor's, but Lee expands on his bit of description on timeline in response to one of those. I can't give it away, but the social commentary is on point in this. So Michael here doubles down, says the social commentary is on point. They say a bit darker, you say. I can't give it away. That makes a lot of people worried. Jonas J. Campbell says, I just heard someone describe Zootopia 2 as a timely social commentary. I guess I won't be taking the kids to this one. And here's the problem. That's all it takes is one comment like this going viral to significantly impact your box office. Don't believe me? James Gunn's Superman had this exact same thing happen. One person out there said something about it who hadn't even seen the movie. Said it seemed it was like to them like it was coming off as woke, right? That one comment from a person who hadn't even seen the movie yet went viral. And a lot of people didn't go see that movie. A guy at my church who probably would have gone and seen the movie, but who doesn't even keep up on like Hollywood entertainment and the way we do, right? Said I heard it was woke, so I didn't go and see it. He flat out told me that, right? Of course, I explained to him why he should go see the movie, that wasn't the case. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people like Jonas J. Campbell and like the guy at my church that feel the exact same way. All it takes is them one sniff of it being like this. And it doesn't matter how good or bad the movie is, it'll still cause them problems. Does that mean it's going to flop? No, right? There's arguments to be made that Little Mermaid didn't flop, that it might have barely made a profit. But it doesn't bode well, right? Because we saw what happened to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That movie should have easily had one of the largest opening box office weekends for any Marvel movie ever outside of an Avengers movie, right? But what did it end up doing? Had a weaker than expected opening weekend and only recovered because it had super long legs because guess what? All of the fans went out there and said it was awesome. But it still should have made $1 billion. Instead, it didn't crack 900 million. It ended up cracking like 850 million globally, which is still good. Still was a profit, but not where it should have been. Why? Because Disney's damaged its brand and people don't trust Disney, whether it be Marvel, Star Wars, or Pixar, or their animations with Zootopia. They don't trust them. And they've done that to themselves. So is this guy going to be right? Or are these couple of people talking about how much social commentary is packed into this movie with the messaging? Maybe so. Is everybody else intentionally avoiding it in their reviews because they know what kind of backlash and what kind of doom it could spell for this movie if they all talk about that? Probably. Because Hollywood has learned that keeping their mouth shut about their political messaging is a much better way to go about things. Because it turns out, despite the echo chambers they live in, despite all the sycophants blowing smoke up their butt all day long, the rest of the world does not think exactly like them and actually largely disagrees with them on most things. And especially when it comes to shoving LGBTQ alphabet soup agenda-driven nonsense into what's supposed to be family-friendly children's entertainment. And all it takes is one sniff. All it takes is one whisper of that word woke. And it will damage your box office. So the real question is, how viral is this going to go? how predominant is this going to be? And are fans' current fears going to be confirmed when the actual honest critic reviews come out in the coming weeks? We'll find out, boys and girls, but this is a giant red flag. And if this movie ends up flopping and failing Disney, it will be their own fault. And it will be another reminder as to why not only does your marketing not have to have the message in it, but your actual movies can't either. Because at the end of the day, the fans will decide. And Disney fans decided a long time ago they don't trust them, and they have to be proven right before they ever support and make something a billion-dollar box office movie like we have seen happen in the past. The real question is, are the critics right? Is Zootopia so full of the messaging? Or is it just another fun, family-friendly entertainment and another sequel that's going to make $1 billion? We will find out, and Disney will get exactly what they deserve, because fans, families, most of all, decide what succeeds and what fails in family-friendly entertainment. I know, strange concept, right?
A big shout out to all of our subscribers and members out there. Thanks for watching, and make sure you guys like and subscribe if you have not already.